But Americs, I want to just add something that's even more frightening. This domestic debt, we are doing the numbers and it's not making sense. So if you look at our books today, we now have a debt of 2.12 trillion plus. Ruto took over at 9.4 or 8.7, as I'll say. It's now at 12 trillion. Of that 12 trillion, 6.5 trillion, they are saying, is domestic debt. In other words, gotten from our banking fraternity here in Kenya. Any of you can do a quick numbers count, and we are doing it even deeper. If you look at the top 10 banks, what are called tier 1 banks, those are the main ones. There are 10 of them. You look at their assets, calculate their assets, because you can't invest in domestic debt what you don't have. Assets are all our deposits in the bank and any securities and so on. Pensioners, insurance companies, anything, they put money in the bank. So you look at all our domestic assets. You look at the top 10 banks, tier 1 banks. Their total assets, KCB being the highest, is at 1.4 trillion. Equities at 1 trillion. Their total assets of the top 10 banks is 6.1 trillion. Total. How did we invest 6.5? Because these banks are not investing all their assets in domestic banks. You go to central bank, they tell you the banks have invested 28% of their assets in domestic debt. So you take that figure, 28%, even round it off to 30. That means the top 10 banks in this country, 10 banks in this country, have invested, according to central bank, 1.8 trillion in domestic debt, domestic securities, bills and bonds. So how is it at 6.5? What is this balloon? Because even the other banks below them, even if you count all their money, it does not even reach 500 billion. So what is this? What is this above this 1.8 of domestic? What is this balloon? Is it fake paper? Is it just cross entries? What is it? If we are right with our assessment, it means that it's air to that extent, which means we've been living a fake economy here for quite a while. And if that is the case, it means imminent collapse is here with us. And all it takes is that balloon to be popped, and whatever you own today will go to nothing. That's what it means. Whatever you have will become worthless, because people have done something called false accounting here, created paper money. That is how serious this fraud is. Because how do you cover up the theft of over 5 trillion shillings? How do you keep covering it up? In the last 1 year, we paid 2 trillion to that debt. This year, we are going to pay, they say they've revised it 1.9, but judging by the last time, they said 1.8. Last year, it came to 2 trillion. They're saying it's 1.9. We, in our estimate, have got it at 2.3 trillion this financial year. In the next financial year, it is estimated at 2.2, 2.6. The next financial year, 2.2. The next financial year, 2.1. This trend continues until roughly 2038. They give 3 to 4 year projections, but judging by the numbers we are seeing, this goes on until 2038. It is taking all our revenue. That's what we need to understand. Now, 96% of our tax revenue, of our hard-earned tax revenue, it is taking. And it is going to keep taking. And it is finishing us. We have become a slave to it. And as Thomas Sankara once said, if we don't pay the creditors, they won't die. If we continue doing this, paying these charlatans, we die. So I call upon Kenyans, to rise up and say no more. You're not going to tell me people are getting sick because there are others who ate 5 trillion shillings plus. You can't. We are saying no more. It is so simple. Universal healthcare, and this is something that we put in our manifesto, although I didn't want to talk too much politics here, but we are talking economic issues. Universal healthcare has been costed at 180 billion per year. We spent 2 trillion on debt last year, bogus debt, illegal debt. I don't want to call it odious anymore. It is just plunder, total plunder. That's what we paid. If we did not pay that, we can pay universal health care without anybody dipping into your pocket to pay anything for medical care. That is covered under universal health care. No SHA, SHIP, or NHIF money, nobody will pay. Education, primary, secondary, all right? And even adding TVET has a total cost of 265 billion per year. No parent of the 11 million primary school kids, no parent will take out a cent for their child to go to school. All capitation will be paid, the same as high school, because there is a saving if we don't pay the 2 trillion. Well, that is only 500. There is no need for any of us to be paying the high taxation of 16% VAT that we pay. We can remove it and go to a 5% sales tax. It will even boost growth beyond your imagination. But even more importantly, you free up money, because you must understand this so-called domestic debt is money that has been taken to the government. They borrow, that is us borrowing, and then they come back for taxes to pay the interest. Now you just give it, make sure Mwananchi is the beneficiary of their own deposits in banks. And you stimulate and catalyze a growth here that has never been seen since independence. We only saw a snippet of it during Jomo Kenyatta's time, at what extent, in the early 70s, and we saw it under Kibaki, where even banks were begging anyone to take even at 3% interest rate. And the first concept of non-securitized loans started. Now, we are being held back. We are slaves, and it doesn't matter. You can cry all the politics you want in this country. If you don't address this, it doesn't matter you remove this charlatan, this unhinged charlatan called William Ruto, and you put another one. If you do not change this thing, it is the same thing. We'll be saying whoever is there must go. This is our slavery. It is our emancipation too. We cut it off, we breathe, we grow, we prosper. Nganga, as you are talking, the generations to come, embedded in our constitution, will prosper. They will see things they have never imagined. And we don't need anybody's loan in this country. We need no debt. We have accumulated enough. If we're able to raise that much revenue a year, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable what we can do. So we just need to save it. Because we save it, we breathe as a nation. We prosper, we grow. This should be and must be the singular election issue, the singular referendum issue. When we go to the ballot, we should be saying, this is what we are going to cut off by our vote. We don't want this pain. We are taking it no more. And anyone who thinks it should continue, go and vote the other side. Go and vote William Ruto. Go and vote whichever legacy politician you want to continue this thing. But those who are clear that this has been theft, vote here. Vote this side. Say no more debt, no more charlatans. This must be an end to all our slavery. It begins here with the next vote.
All right, let me give you a 10 minutes break. Let me give people time to breathe that, because that is really shocking. It's really, that is really, really shocking.
Ati black chocolate ni fine melanin bana kutoka nikapate. Kanapenda kenye mi wanapenda, so kanapenda toto chupa na haga nono.
Madam na kudai, umedunga mini na unapenda mangwai. Una dance fit, unawacha nikismile. Ama niko high, jua lies nice.
Kono moja mbele, ngine